Hello everyone, today we've got this Samsung Blu-ray player. So this is a 2010 model. It was actually, this was built in 2010 of February. My brother bought this off of eBay when he lived at my father's house. And he gave this to me because he had no use for it anymore. Because I guess supposedly he was buying a new one. He was looking on, I think he was looking at buying a Sony, one of those high-end Sonys. And he's had this for quite a while. He's had this for I think 5 years. And the problem with it is he bought it off of eBay at the beginning of 2020. And there's nothing wrong with it. I haven't seen anything wrong with it yet, but I did notice the problem with this is the online services are no longer even available for this because it's 15 years old. And it plays DVDs and stuff really well yet, which I was surprised. As you can see the tray there. And then it plays this some type of random like Japanese or Korean music to begin it with, but you put the disc in there, it actually fits in there really well. If you look at the platter, it actually looks like it's actually built pretty well. You shake it a little bit, it doesn't move. It's like it's firm in place. So the quality of these Samsungs at this time period they were actually built pretty well. And I actually had a Samsung. It was a little one. It was a little one that was like half of this, probably. It was a little one. And it was a curved one. It was a curved one. And it said curved on it when I bought it. I mean, when I actually got it for my 18th birthday. It lasted 3 years. It lasted 3 years before the motherboard got fried. I turned it off. We left the house to go somewhere, and we came back. And I thank God I had taken the disc out because when we got back, the drawer wouldn't open. And eventually, when I clicked the on button and I clicked the drawer open button, and it finally opened. It finally opened. And it was like something was wrong with it because the drawer kept opening and closing really fast, and I hardly ever used it. And it didn't make any sense because at the time period I had my Samsung VCR, and my father was all into the Samsung vibe. My parents had bought and they actually purchased a Samsung refrigerator in 2010, and they also were in the process. They also bought a Samsung television in 2009. So my parents were into the Samsung theme. And after that broke in 2018, that lasted, 3 years? Literally. Because I was 18 years old in 2017, so it literally lasted, I guess it lasted a year. Lasted maybe a year, I guess. Didn't last very long. Actually, I think it might have lasted 2 years because 2019 is when I bought this. Which was another Samsung. But this was the last 4K model by Samsung. Last one. And I had to unplug it, otherwise the remote control. This is the remote control for my curved Samsung. I just donated it to the thrift store because I couldn't get the drawer to stay open. So, and I just said to hell with it, I'm donating it. And the part that you would need to fix it was like $150. My parents only paid $129 at Walmart for it. So I just didn't make any sense. Why would it be so cheap like that? You spend so much money on something. Why would they make it so cheap like that? And my parents did not buy the cheapest. They did not buy the cheapest one. I can tell you that, because you could buy a Sanyo for $100. You could buy a Sony. You could have bought the Sony one for $9.99. So they didn't buy the cheapest one. They didn't buy the Panasonic one that was $70. So I can tell you that they didn't buy the cheapest one. Question is why didn't it last? But this is it's kind of strange, because the exact same one that they had, the exact same one I had, they have them listed on Amazon for $317 last time I looked. Then they had this big clearance sale where they were clearancing them out at $129.99. I'm like, that's the usual price. You could buy them new at Walmart. I don't understand why they got to be so expensive. Mine was a 2016 model, and they continued making these. They continue making those all the way up until like early 2019, because I've seen some from 2019 that were made, the little ones. And Samsung stopped making them supposedly in 2018, but they were still making them until early 2019. So we're going to check this out here. So it closes. And you're going to see how it says loading. And yes, I got this connected through the regular composite output, which is really weird for 2010. Yeah, see, it plays. Click the play button. And that's about all I'm going to be able to show. It is the Disney logo, because this is Out of My Mind, and that's the movie. So my brother, I think he paid like something like $40 for this on eBay, including shipping. I don't think it was that cheap, because you could go to a thrift store today and you could find one of these for $10. And keep in mind, he may have spent all that money on this, but look at the bright side. If I hadn't kept this remote control, I would have had to buy one for this. He had no remote, so. See how it's like beating up the disc, trying to play a Blu-ray? So there's clearly something wrong with this. Unless that's how it was when it was brand new. So there's the picture. See how it's in a widescreen S ratio? It's probably a 4:3 pan scan. Yeah, we can't play that either. Nobody. That's probably the most copyrighted music of all time. The opening Warner Brothers music. I think it's kind of funny how other people play like longer snippets of like that type of stuff, and I'm like, I'm only gonna play 5 seconds. Better safe than sorry. And so that was The Godfather I put in there. No, that was the Goodfellas. That was what it was, not The Godfather, the Goodfellas. I got it right here. And so I originally thought about listing it for sale on Facebook for sale, and I was thinking it would look very good, if I sold this. Unless it makes some type of weird Korean sound or Japanese noise or whatever. And then I started looking around, and I noticed the body panel here. Look how that body panel is. Somebody's been in this. This has either been repaired, it's been damaged severely, and it's been repaired. So which tells me that somebody put a lot of money into this. And I did notice that there's a USB input right there, which seems to come standard on all the Samsungs. And these are the only two Samsung, I think, devices I have that have the Samsung name on it, other than the VCR that sits in the other room. And I have other devices that are Samsungs, but they're rebadged. Like, for example, the Sony, Toshiba, Daewoo, VCRs from like the 2000s were actually Samsungs, including all the Sonys. You see all those Sony combo units, like they got VCR, DVD combo, like the DVP 380p. The DVD/VHS combo, that's actually a Samsung in disguise. They put the Sony name on there because it was produced for Sony. Funai did the same thing for SV2000 and Magnavox, including Sylvania, and then later Toshiba. So Samsung was doing the same thing for years. And always, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.